This week, GB News ran what they called an exclusive investigation. 10 minutes of prime time arguing that Nigel Farage could not get a fair hearing from the Parliament's Standards Committee. A kangaroo court stacked against him, another Clacton by-election looming. Then they brought on Jacob Rees-Mogg to back it all up, and live on air, their own star witness admitted Farage probably broke the rules, before explaining in detail how a single apology to the Commissioner makes the entire thing just vanish. Those two claims are made 30 seconds apart and nobody on set noticed, so they can't both be true. If the escape route is just saying sorry, then there's no kangaroo court, and the man handing out the advice has done this before. The last time a standards verdict landed on one of his friends, he tried to rewrite the entire rulebook while the case was still open. It ended in a government U-turn inside of 24 hours and a resignation, and a standards commissioner being extra scrutiny. Okay, so just a very quick context. Farage is under investigation by the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards over declarations of interest, the process that paused when he resigned to trigger the by-election and restarted the moment he won it. So here's Farage's own framing of what he's accused of.
I have had enough of being judged by mainstream media, being called a criminal. Do you know, if I've made one sin, it's I haven't filled in a piece of paper.
Now that piece of paper covers the register of interests, the system that exists so voters can see, for instance, who has handed their MP £5 million. Now, hold that thought, because everyone on this broadcast wants you to think about the paperwork and never about what the paperwork would have said. So here's the show's case.
Breaking news for you now. It's time for yet another GB News Tonight exclusive investigation into the Standards Committee, the committee, of course, that could force Nigel Farage to fight yet another Clacton by-election.
The evidence for a stitch-up. A lay member who's a trustee of a refugee charity, another who in 2018 observed that Scotland didn't vote for Brexit, and some MPs who have, and brace yourself, criticised Nigel Farage.
Is a trustee for the migrant charity Slough Refugee Support, has previously spoken publicly about her opposition to Brexit.
And that's it. That's their exclusive. People on a standards committee who hold opinions. What the segment saves for the very end, and when pretty much everyone's finished watching, is that the committee's actual response. Lay members are recruited through open competition, and it's the Commissioner, Daniel Greenberg, conducting the investigation, not the committee. The committee only enters the picture if Greenberg finds a breach. GB News spent 10 minutes prosecuting a jury for a trial that may never reach it. Then Rees-Mogg starts to talk and, well, things get a little bit awkward. Dobney tees him up with the line that Farage denies all the allegations.
And you said he denied all the allegations. Well, not quite. He said he may have failed to send in a bit of paper. And I think that Nigel did make an administrative mistake. He probably should have sent in the bit of paper.
So the witnesses invited on to prove that the trial is rigged has just conceded on the defendant's own channel that the defendant probably did the thing. Yeah, great, this is going well. And then it gets better, because Rees-Mogg then talks directly past the host to his client.
And my experience of standards is if you admit you've made an administrative mistake, usually people accept that. And if he's wise, he'll say that to Daniel Greenberg, and with a bit of luck, that will finish it. And I hope Daniel Greenberg, who I think is a good man, a decent man, very intelligent man, fearsomely intelligent man, will come to a more sensible conclusion and will bypass this committee, which he is able to do if Nigel is sensible.
Okay, so here's like the annoying part of that. Rees-Mogg is actually right about the procedure. Minor registration breach really can be closed by the Commissioner without ever reaching the committee. Admit it, apologise, correct the record, job done. Which is exactly why the whole broadcast eats itself. A rigged show trial doesn't come with a self-service exit. GB News thinks that the scandal is a committee containing people with opinions, while the footage that actually aired shows a channel calling the referee bent, as their house expert explains the referee will just wave play on if you just put your hand up. Oh, and while you're here, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. Memberships are open as well if you'd like to support me and the channel too. But Rees-Mogg's grander argument also deserves its own moment.
First of all, I don't think lay members should have a vote in a House of Commons committee. This is the House of Commons, the highest legislative body in our land. There is no body that can regulate the House of Commons other than the House of Commons, and more importantly, the voters.
See, there's a small problem. The Standards Committee is the House of Commons regulating itself, its own committee, its own code, 7 of its own MPs sitting on it. The lay members he wants stripped of votes were bolted on after the expenses scandal because MPs marking their own homework gave the country duck houses and a moat. But if you followed this logic to the end, if winning an election settles the matter, no MP can ever be sanctioned for anything, provided they stay popular enough. An election win becomes a pardon. As for the Clacton verdict he keeps invoking, the Labour panellist of all people quietly detonates it.
The reality is that Nigel Farage decided on holding the by-election. He didn't have to do that. He knew that this report was coming up.
He called the election himself, knowing the report was coming, and the other major parties didn't stand. Some jury. The thing is that Rees-Mogg's done this playbook all before. November the 3rd, 2021, Owen Paterson is found to have breached lobbying rules. A 30-day suspension is recommended. Rees-Mogg, as leader of the House, whips Conservative MPs behind the Lebson Amendment, frees the punishment, invent a new committee and rewrite the standard system with the case still warm. It passes on the Wednesday night, but by Thursday morning, the government has U-turned on the face of public fury.
And I absolutely recognise that it is important to proceed on a cross-party basis, to have the highest standards within this House, but ones that, when they are implemented, are fair to those to whom they are implemented upon. And that is what we will seek to achieve, and I hope that the Honourable Lady and others will be willing to enter into this in a spirit of cooperation.
Paterson resigns that afternoon, and the fallout runs so hot that the Standards Commissioner, Catherine Stone, is given additional security after Conservative MPs attack her in speeches. And what was the reform floated in that same mess? Removing the lay members, which would have handed the governing party majority control of its own disciplinary committee. Rees-Mogg's opening move on GB News was saying that lay members shouldn't have votes. He's been trying to get the referees off the pitch for 5 years. And one small detail as well that you might be interested in. A month after the Paterson debacle, Rees-Mogg himself appeared on the Commissioner's investigation list over the registration of an interest, £6 million in directed loan from his own company that never made the register. His defence at the time was loans are not earnings and they're not declarable by the Register of Interests. The man explaining how to survive a paperwork investigation, well, he kind of speaks from experience. So through all of this, remember where we're standing. Farage presents on GB News, and when Lib Dem's Anna Sabine suggested that GB News' salary was a conflict of interest, this same show played it for laughs. And then Kwasi Kwarteng says the quiet bit out loud.
Political
But that's
parties.
up to Nigel. I mean, you know, we love him here. I mean, you know, I've been on this show for many years.
A channel that pays a man under investigation, running an exclusive into whether the people judging him can possibly be impartial. The lay member's disqualifying sin was being a charity trustee. The panellist's on-air confession was love. So here's what this GB News show actually demonstrated. For the people who spent a decade lecturing the rest of us about parliamentary sovereignty, the rules of parliament are furniture, admired when the guests come round, shoved aside the moment a friend trips over them. And Farage, the scourge of the establishment, received his defence strategy live on his employer's channel from an old Etonian, former leader of the House. And that strategy was the oldest establishment move in the book. Apologise quietly, make it disappear, and then get back on the air to tell everyone how the system is rigged. If the piece of paper was nothing, he should have just signed it. If the committee is rigged, why does an apology beat it? They just want you to believe in both. And to see why Reform are even trying to just give up on hiding their own lies, you need to watch the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.